Hi, I'm speaking to Allan Taylor from Boost, and one of the things that's very interesting is that even though you're I can term you a startup, right? Essentially, a couple of years in business, but yet there is a focus on building a very strong board. I don't see that very common among startups where they don't really think boards. They think, who's giving me money, they get on the board, or there's not a preoccupation to build a very strong board. Why is there a focus on building a strong board? How is that helping you, and why do you think that's important for other startups and smaller organizations to really think of having strong boards?
Strong board is an absolute requirement as you build and expand out your business. And there's two parts to the board. There's the board of directors, and then there's the advisory board.
Right. And some people forget about the advisory board, right?
Yeah, advisory is also pretty critical because you're able to, at a reduced cost level, grab some great advice, great input, usually really good industry knowledge, and you can bring them in, offer them a little bit of equity, a little bit of options.
So you actually incentivize them to
ask them to come along, because we want them to be reactive, proactive, as active as they possibly can be in their business. So for instance, our advisory board pretty much resides overseas, outside of the region, and one of the good points of that, and when I say region, I mean Asia Pac, is that we still get insights, we get input, we get updates from some of the major markets in Europe and in the US. We still have really good working knowledge of what's going on, usually at the major corporate level. So advisory is good because there's specifics there. They're able to introduce us to people all sorts of things, specialist skills in some of the areas that we're moving into.
Plus they hear of different opportunities and they think of you, and because they're part of your board, right?
Yeah.
Do you meet the advisory board?
Our advisory board gets together once a year.
Once a year, okay.
Our board of directors, which is as important, if not more so, tend to be more focused on obviously the finance. So as a startup, that's something very important to us. But what we try to do with our board is actually bring a level of balance to it that is both financial, as in financial understanding, but also at an industry level has some really good industry characters.
So you recently brought someone into your board.
We brought in Horst, Mr. Schultz.
Yeah.
He is a new executive director, came on board this year. Fantastic chap.
So how do you make that call, who to bring in and when to bring in, and how to expand your board? And
that often is driven by financing. That's often driven by growth requirements and at what particular time it is right to sort of move. So for instance, Horst joining us was a great idea because now our focus has moved from a proof of concept where we are individually selling one-on-one hotels. We're selling more at a corporate level, so we're at an enterprise level now. We need enterprise experienced people. So to grab the chairman, CEO, president of Capella Hotels is fantastic. And the fact that he was able to build Ritz-Carlton in this part of the world from nothing, wow. So to get him on board, it's not a de facto thing that these people will join. What is great is they also have a level of understanding of what you're trying to achieve. They also see the opportunity. So it's proactive. It's not just adding value to the board, it adds value to the business all over. And also our staff, our young staff see this and, there's a grey-haired guy. What does he do? What does he do? And then you explain, and then they're like, wow, they do the research, they go look up themselves, they come back and say, okay, if people like this are interested, then we must be doing something right.
So if you were to give advice to startups and younger companies, right, especially in regards to the board, what sort of advice would you impart to us?
Start at the advisory level, get in some good, competent advisors that are industry names, industry knowledge, that have really good industry knowledge. And then at the board level, it will probably be driven a little bit by the financial requirements and the shareholding requirements. But try and bring balance to the board. So if you have a financier, and in my industry, get a hotelier. If you have a hotelier, then get a technology person. So you start to build a board that actually is very robust, very understanding, and can efficiently move.
One final question is that a lot of Asian companies struggle with boards because they are afraid of control. With
That's-
the board that you,
Yeah.
especially if you build a diverse board, right? You have conflict, you have disagreements, you have a different perspective, right? How do we overcome this? Because I mean, it's true, we do need that board, but at the same time, there's this Asian thing about control. How do you think, I mean, especially being in Singapore for so long, we can change that mindset with these companies?
I just think it's down to the people that you bring to that board level. It should not be confrontational, but as the CEO, I work for the board. I report to the board. So I present to them everything that we've done that particular month, that particular quarter, and they will point out things that, because we're so close to the business, you would have heard the term, you're too close, you can't see the wood for the trees. We have to involve them, we have to talk and take the advice from them, and I just think it's working with them. I would never say under promise and over deliver, but it's a good thing to do at a board level. Make sure they understand how difficult it's been for the team and keep them involved. I do not use a board meeting as the only possible way of giving them information. If we have good news, they need to hear it as well. Keep doing that.
Allan, thanks again.
Okay.
Love your insights on the board.
No problem.